The stadium is buzzing already, and with good cause. Hello and welcome. Sadly, it's a rainy scene ahead of the game here at Elland Road. My name is Derek Ray, and sitting alongside me in the commentary position is the former Arsenal and West Ham midfield player Stuart Robson. And we have live action from the FA Cup to bring you today. It's Leeds United taking on Liverpool.
Well, what an occasion this is for the home side and its supporters. Yes, of course, they're up against it today, but how they would love to cause a shock here. If they work as hard as they can, close their opponents down, defend with determination and get a little bit of luck, they may just pull off a surprise.
And a look at the starting 11 for Leeds United.
Well, they're starting with an attacking 4-5-1 formation with 3 players in advance of 2 holding midfielders. But it's important that the wide players come in field to join the centre forward at the right time.
And an astute piece of defending. Well, the fans have been wondering how this might go. It is his debut game. Stuart, what should we be looking for from him today?
Well, it seems like a good signing to me. They've had some problems at the back in recent years, so I think they just want someone they can depend on, week in, week out. He reads the game well, though, and certainly can handle himself, so I expect him to fit in well here.
A very effective challenge put in. And Liverpool might be able to cash in. But nothing comes of it. Roberts. Kamara.
Happy birthday to Alex O'Neill celebrating
Roden.
today from all of your friends and family.
Ampadu. Kamara. Well, they're eyeing that final pass, you just feel. And he's broken free. And a goal! Now they have their opener, and now they can celebrate. Well, back underway. Will that goal have the effect of stinging Liverpool into action? So approaching half-time, and the visitors have a bit of work ahead of them. Stuart, your assessment?
Well, I've been a little disappointed with their attacking play. It's all been a bit too slow. If they can pass it into their front areas with more quality, switch play quicker, and be more positive in 1v1 situations, I think they'll get back into this.
A good and fair challenge. And there we have it, the half-time whistle. That will do it for the first half here at Elland Road. Well, for whatever reason, it hasn't really happened for Federico Chiesa. Not in this game, anyway.
Yeah, you're right. He needs to impose himself on this game. He just hasn't done enough to get away from his marker so far. Unless that changes, they're going to struggle to turn this one around.
Well, they've got things going again here, and I wonder what kind of second half we have in store for us. That's how to dispossess your opponent. But I think it's fair to say Monaco fans have been holding their breath, wondering if the deal was going to go through. It is now official. They can breathe a huge sigh of relief, Stuart.
Well, I think it's a good move for him. He has great ability, but needs to be that little bit more consistent. I'd say it's a fair price as well.
And players waiting in the centre. Firpo. And return to Firpo. Well, all doing their bit to keep them out. Plenty of support here. Opportunity. Full. Marks to the keeper.
Well, what a reaction from the goalkeeper. Such a good save in the end.
Well, a short corner here. Another corner conceded. What can they do with this one? Now they're going to alter things. Here's the substitution. Playing it in. Oh, that's top-notch goalkeeping, you've got to say. And held by the keeper at the second time of asking.
Well, he's just pulled off a great first save there. Now they can all calm down.
Oh, he's gone for goal. He got a good palm on it. And Liverpool down by a goal, in need of inspiration from the corner. Time for a change then. Well, it still could be dangerous. An alert piece of defending. Well, just to point you in the right direction, we have more live action from the Premier League coming up here on EA TV. It's Liverpool taking on Chelsea. And the ball back with Leeds here. Ethan Ampadu. 10 minutes to go. Endo. Nice weight on the pass. It could be up for grabs.
Well, that might have been Liverpool's last chance, but they've been thwarted by a really good stop from the keeper. It's not been their day, has it?
Well, not giving him any breathing room. Leeds unable to hold on to the ball. And we will have a couple of additional minutes at the end here. And running in behind. In it goes! To increase their advantage. And will that be the goal that ends up securing it for them?
Well, here it is again. He goes past his marker so easily with just a drop of the shoulder, and there's certainly no doubt about the finish. He really hits it with power and accuracy. Nothing the keeper can do about that.
There's the final whistle. The travelling fans are full of the joys because they are moving on.
Well, that was unexpected, but they were...
Fucking bad run over here. That's fucking 5 games.
Just a moment of your time.
It's like 2 games. Oh wow, man. Morale's not very good, is it?
Thanks for speaking to us.
An expectant Anfield for this one, and with good reason, as Liverpool prepare to take on Chelsea. Who is going to prevail? We're live next, so don't go anywhere. And all systems go.
And people were saying, no, don't you know he stutters? They were saying all this. Well, there's no evidence of him stuttering when he was younger. This is crazy. There's a mental decline there. There's nothing wrong with mental decline. We're all going to experience it someday, kids. But to say that it's not happening just because you don't want the other side to win is bananas. And that's what it was. It was.
Here at Anfield, ahead of what should be an enthralling night of football. I'm Derek Ray at the microphone, and joining me for match commentary is Stuart Robson. I'm looking forward to bringing you action from the Premier League coming right up. It is Liverpool taking on Chelsea.
Well, Derek, when looking forward to this game, you can't help but notice there are some great matchups all over the pitch, particularly in those central areas. Whichever team wins more of those battles will win the game.
Oh, beating his opponent with ease. Oh, genuine chance. In it goes! An early opening statement in this match. And look at the celebrations.
It's gaslighting to the extreme, because it was so obvious and in your face.
Ronald
like,
Araujo.
no, it's not breaking out. What? It's fucking
Now with Konate.
Full gaslighting. Right.
So Bosley.
And so I would love that to be the very first question.
Alexis McAllister.
At what point in time you actually became aware that he was in significant mental.
Reece James.
But then again, that's I feel bad for the guy. I feel bad for anyone who's in that position. But he's the fucking commander-in-chief, right? He's the leader of the free world.
Joao Felix.
So
And it's a quality pass.
in that situation. Yeah, I don't think that there's going to be none of this. His last fuck you
James.
was saying that it's Harris.
Chance to play it in.
That was his last fuck you, because from what I understand, they wanted
Still
to have
ahead
primary.
by a goal and
They
moving
wanted
the
to pick
ball
their
with
own.
purpose.
And they didn't
Well, that's how
want
to keep the opposition at bay.
Yeah, she was nobody's idea of the best, most competent, most qualified candidate.
Cucurella.
Until they orchestrated this, whatever.
Mikhailo Mudryk.
Coronation coup.
Joao
Yes,
Felix.
yeah.
Looking for a teammate.
Yeah.
It might be. And Chelsea have done it. It's going to be so difficult to stop them now.
She had that one speech which really fucked me. She was talking about Trump. This is after Trump even got shot.
Great vision to switch the play. Right, time to switch it over to the Etihad, where there's been a goal, and that means we join Alex Scott.
It's a goal from Manchester City. It's now 1-0 with 25 minutes on the clock.
Alex keeping us right up to date. Options in the centre. Using his strength to hold on to the ball and wait for teammates to arrive. Corner it is for Chelsea. And that's very confident goalkeeping in not easy circumstances.
I know. Do you think CNN would do that?
Mo Salah.
I take it back.
A delicious piece of skill. Has eyes for goal. A goal! Just what they needed. Still plenty of life in this match. Now back underway. Liverpool still trailing, but the belief is certainly back. Moises Caicedo.
Parents' frustration. She has some sort of a connection.
Yusuf Fofana.
Parents' frustration.
Benoit Badiashile. Noni Madueke. Well, good run, this. Now, what can he do with it? Great strong tackle. Throw in forthcoming.
And what did he do here?
Noni Madueke.
That poor bastard. If that was my dad.
Felix. James.
What are you doing with that? They're just dragging him around, right? All of us that lead.
And he takes it on. Vital intervention. No more time left. First half is over here at Anfield. Well, quite simply, he hasn't been able to make his mark and attack in this game, Stuart.
Well, he has to find space in more dangerous areas.
So the ball is moving, the action underway again, and the big question is, can Liverpool battle back in this second half? Really showing off his wide range of passing skills.
It's not going to happen. And the fact that there's just nobody asking
Joao
questions about
Felix.
things like that. When did you
Well,
know
the counter chance looks very real.
He's actually making decisions on controversy surrounds ABC News anchor Lindsay Davis as debate moderator.
A highly significant transfer story, and as usual, we want to pass along the information to you. Thomas Partey has completed his move to Dortmund.
Well, the figure being reported is about £30 million, which in my view is value for money. We know he's talented, and on his day, he can...
Oh, Stuart, they must score! And the keeper's technical skills, there for all to see.
Well, from that close in, that's a really good save. Such good reflexes.
Yeah. So that's
No trouble at all as far as the keeper was concerned. And as the play it goes, throw in coming up here.
And she just got to get through without a major screw up. And
Cucurella.
Look, she did it. She's had her interview. It's all.
Mikhailo Mudryk. Possession ceded by Chelsea.
And certainly on the Democrat side, one thing they're always
Darwin
very good at
Nunez.
is doing what they're told. And following a message, sticking to the message, and worrying about winning. Yeah, I saw Bill Maher with Tarantino.
Now Chelsea in a position of menace.
Tarantino's like, it's really.
Is this the moment? And it's gone in here. Just
Are we the Dolphins? Are we going against the Raiders? Or is this the United fucking States of America? Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, you'd like to think that people are really concerned about the quality of their leaders, but I think it is more about winning. Again, at least on the Democrat side. Sometimes I question whether the Republicans understand that. Right?
I think it's on both sides. I really do, because there were some people that posted a deceptive video, deceptively edited video that made it look like Tim, he has a son that has some disabilities, and it looked like he was yanking his son like in a mean way, but he was really just trying to get his son to not hit his head on the teleprompter.
It's what Chelsea fans wanted to see. Their lead extended to 2 goals.
And he just took that clip like, oh, that he's mean. Look, he's mean. He's bullying.
Curtis Jones.
It's the level of disinformation.
And this is Diogo Jota now.
Leading up to the battle.
Elliott.
And it's becoming more and more difficult.
Using all his defensive acumen to cut it out.
Just a willingness to kind of disappear down a rabbit hole and believe whatever you want.
Already closing him down here. Could be threatening. Can he finish? And a goal! There he is at the double. They just can't subdue him. And the ball is moving again. 3-2. The Chelsea move still flowing. Advantage to them.
It's not as if
Axel
it's
Disasi.
like the government is going to tell you what's good.
Now we're inside the final 15 minutes.
Right, they just arrested the Telegram CEO. Europe. Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Now plays with a positional sense that is second to none.
They wanted access.
And don't forget, we have more Premier League action coming up for you on EA TV. It's Liverpool.
Oh, can he finish it here, Derek?
Well, his accuracy deserted him at a crucial moment.
Well, he had to score there. That's probably the game over now.
They gave up on that. They left it alone. But now in France, they've arrested him.
Yeah, they picked him up.
And in with a real chance. Oh, a goal! That levels it in the closing phase of this game.
Well, here's the goal again, and it's a great ball to put him through. Good vision to set up the chance. And what an emphatic strike it is from Salah. Hit with his laces. It's a great finish and a great goal.
Well, it looks like there's been a goal at the Etihad. Over to Alex for the details.
Yeah, it's a third goal for Manchester City. They now lead 3-2 with 86 minutes on the clock.
Alex keeping us right up to date. Liverpool try to click into an attacking gear with the game level in the closing moments. Plays it back. Well, keeper getting both gloves on the ball. So the final whistle, even Steven in the end, a draw from the Liverpool point of view. What did you make of it?
Yes, Derek, they certainly weren't at their best today, but sometimes you just have to keep fighting, keep believing, and that's what they did. It's a well-earned draw in the end.
Is that Telegram has a history of not cooperating with criminal investigations, right? Not releasing it.
We've got some questions for you.
No further questions, thank you.
Expression over there. But, oh, God. Russia.
So let me ask you this. We'll put a topic about the assassination. Is it normal for there to be an assassination attempt and then no press conference?
It is, because we don't have assassination attempts every week, it's kind of hard to say that is it normal.
But if there's a major world event,
Right.
generally don't they have press conferences?
Yes, and it was the whole thing. The protocols that weren't followed, the process, the fact that it was a cock-up of monumental proportions, leading up to Thomas Crooks taking those shots. And then the afterwards, right? Then the way that they handled it was another series. I mean, it still, to this day, this series of mistakes that there's no justification for it. You can't, look, doing security at an event like the Butler rally back in July where Trump was shot. Right now, there's people out there going, well, I don't think he was shot. I'm pretty sure he was. So I think it's not rocket science, right? It's very labor intensive and detail oriented, but it's not. You're not building a spaceship, right? You're going through the same process that you go through every time you have one of these events, right? And so you have a political rally like that, and it's not a national security event. So it's not the DNC, it's not the RNC, it's not the Super Bowl, it's not the Olympics. Those are national security events. You have a year plus to plan and prepare, get all your resources together, figure out your game plan, your site surveys, all that stuff. You still have time, but these political events don't have a year, but you've got sufficient time, and they do it over and over again, and it's not tough. So you do a site survey, and you say, okay, he's going to show up at Butler. Let's get out there. And the Secret Service has primacy. They work with local, state resources if they need to heavy up the security and they don't have the available resources. But they have the primacy, so they go out and the site survey, that whole process, the risk threat assessment and the survey is where you identify your timelines and your resources and your deployment of resources and all the various things, your command and control center, your communications protocols, all those things. But it's over and over and over again. It's there's a methodology to it, and the Secret Service, they do this all the time. So it does lead you to wonder how many more events in the past have they been, not buttoned up, and they just got lucky because there wasn't a shooter. But there's no way to excuse what happened because it was such a breakdown of events, and then afterwards in the hot wash and the briefings that they did provide, and going up on Capitol Hill, and Kimberly Cheadle, the now departed director, it was a classic lesson in how not to do crisis communications. And she should have been the director, who's now gone. She should have been out on the rally grounds that evening, and with a team and with the agent in charge, and it should have been very clear to the press all around that they were out there doing the investigation, assessing what had happened, and people would be responsible, and they would talk. But none of that happened. It was just a fucking go rope. So
It's because it's Trump. If it was anybody else,
yeah,
like if that had happened, if there's an assassination attempt about Biden,
yeah, oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it would have been crazy. If Biden got wind, this is an advertisement from BetterHelp. As adults, I think we're going to hear the same way. And they took him out and the whole deal, and they shoot the guy, and there's an investigation. It would have been on the news constantly for weeks and weeks. It would have been lead story every night. More information in the assassination attempt on President Biden.
Day 22.
Yeah, it would have been the same thing. Right-wing, far-right activist, registered Republican, Thomas Crooks.
Yes.
Because apparently he was a registered Republican.
Yeah, he had donated, I think, $15 to a Democratic or a progressive group, and he had registered as a Republican, and he was all over the map. He had done research on Biden, he had done research on Trump. He they're trying to posit a motivation, because they haven't been clear about that yet. They're still trying to figure out a motivation. That he was just looking for an opportunity, right, to carry out his vision.
Does he? Did he have a? We don't even know. Does he have a history of being mentally ill?
There was some talk. They're starting to develop a narrative that says, for the past couple of years, people were concerned about his mental health. There were a couple of people, I think, that had a acquaintance with him that were saying, well, we just assumed he was bipolar or depressive. He had researched depressive disorders that was on some of his electronic gear, and so that could be it. But again, the bottom line is the whole process, command and control, resource deployment, communications process, all of it just completely fucked up on that day. And usually when you have a problem of that magnitude with security, it's never just one thing. It's a series of things that compound. And, but then, the acting director, Rowe, he goes up there and, early, it was a few weeks back now, but when he first showed up to say, I'm the acting director and I'll go up to Capitol Hill and answer your questions, which he didn't really do. They're talking about, well, it's almost impossible to get all the elements talking on the same frequency. Right? The local police are talking on their frequency, Secret Service talking on their frequency, counter sniper teams, maybe they're operating on a different channel. You can't combine those. Well, of course you can't. I just telling you for a fact that you can. There are capabilities out there and available to allow you to get everybody talking on the same sheet of music at an event like that.
Of course.
And
to say otherwise is nonsense.
Yeah, and it's also it defies logic, but it also, and I think that was the thing about this, is why people were so shocked, is because you didn't have to be a security expert to look at this thing in real time.
Well, how about the sloped roof thing?
Oh gosh,
we couldn't get agents up there because the roof was sloped.
Yeah.
And it could be dangerous. And it sloped like 5 degrees.
Yeah, that was the nail in her coffin when she came out with that bullshit.
The whole thing was insane because you had snipers on another roof. So what are you talking about?
Yeah. You had what do they have? 2 counter sniper teams. But again, when you go out to a place like that and you walk the grounds and you stand and you survey, right? And you fly drones around and you get a real sense of what you're talking about. In the early stages of a survey or an assessment like that, there are just certain things you look for.
Right.
Okay, there's the stage. There's a tall building over there.
How about the water tower?
Yeah, how about the water tower? Maybe we cover that down too. And I think the transparency that we have on this right now is pretty much thanks to the local law enforcement. I mean, that's where we've gotten most of our information, right? They've shared body cam images, they've shared radio conversations. And I think in part they're doing it because they're so pissed off, right?
Yeah, well, their conversations were about how they saw this guy in advance and they alerted people. He was walking around with a fucking rangefinder.
Yeah, you think
that's it.
Clue?
When you walk around with a rangefinder, they should just arrest you.
It's shocking. And then he was there a couple hours ahead of time flying a drone.
Insane.
And but I think that the Secret Service, their go-to in the immediate aftermath was to point fingers at the local law enforcement. And so I think local law enforcement was like, fuck you.
Fuck you.
Yeah. And so they've been transparent where Secret Service hasn't. Right? The government, I tell you this, government hates to hold a press conference when they don't have all the facts, right? They're just not comfortable with it. And particularly something like this, the idea that Rowe kept saying, the acting director kept saying, well, we're not going to get out ahead of the investigation. Well, you know what? Sometimes there's times when you need to.
Right.
And the fact that they failed to understand the optic of this, and right in the immediate aftermath, and say, man, we got to be so fucking proactive here. We got to be more transparent than we've ever been before.
There's a lot of other things that disturb me. Here's one. Is it normal for CNN to live stream a Trump press event or a Trump campaign event?
They normally, if they show it, they normally jump out of it after the first 10 seconds or so.
Oh, he's lying again. We've counted 5 lies. But I do have to say this, and I say this as a credit to CNN. It seems like they have made a concerted effort to be more balanced. And I think this is in the aftermath of firing Don Lemon and Brian Stelter and all those people over there that people were frustrated with. I think they have made a concerted effort. Like there was a gentleman who was talking about that everyone's blaming Trump for things, but that the Democrats have been in control of the White House for 12 of the last 16 years. And when he said that, it was like, whoa. Yeah, that was a big moment, and no one had an answer to that. They were like, yeah, but they have the undermining that Trump has done to our democracy and the threats. And what did he say? He's going to be a dictator. He said he's going to be a dictator on day one. Holy shit, man! He's joking around about closing the border. Like he's not going to listen to anybody. He's just going to close the border.
12 of the last 16 years. And you know what? Kamala Harris, if she wins, she's going to fix the problems.
She's in right now.
I know.
Which is so crazy.
Another part of the whole equation that I'm sure they won't get asked tomorrow night.
Right.
When you talk about fixing the problems and making America, what have you been doing?
Maybe they will, and maybe they've already prepared for that. Maybe they have some sort of fucking spinny spin they're going to put on that to make it seem like it makes sense.
Somebody has, I guarantee you, put everybody on the polygraph over there and see, like, somebody could just be a researcher or a producer or whatever. They're talking because the DNC and the campaign team have been, ever since they agreed, okay, let's do this interview, somebody's been beating on somebody to say, okay, well, where are you going to go with this?
Yeah.
What questions going to ask? And somebody's slipping that under the table.
There's no way they're not. If they're all Democrats, if you're working for CNN, you're a Democrat, most likely. There's very few Republicans over there.
Yeah, there might be some independents.
There might be.
Libertarians.
Yeah, there's a few.
There's a
few that are, even though they're liberal leaning, I think Jake Tapper, I think, is very fair. I think he's probably the most objective out of all of them, even though I'm sure he has his own opinions and biases.
Yeah.
But they're not acting like journalists. They act like advocates for the Democratic Party, and that's where it gets weird, because you're supposed to be the news.
Yeah, well, I think what happened, a couple of things is with CNN moving possibly this idea that they're moving a little bit towards the center. And I will say, you see more negative comments from the left, right, about CNN. I think they're pissed off sometimes with CNN because they're not as
objective.
Because they're trying to move a little bit more. I think that's a revenue issue for them. Because I don't think they've made money since they've been around.
Right.
But I think they've realized that maybe there's more profit margin a little bit further towards the center than where they've been sitting.
If they can convince people that they will actually be objective, people like me will listen. And that's the thing. I'm much more center than I am anything.
Well, remember, you used to tune in CNN when shit was hitting the fan, right? Overseas.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they had more field offices, they had more bureaus all over the world. And you turn on CNN to see
the best news.
Yeah, what was going on.
Yeah.
We used to have it be on if you walked into a station overseas. CNN was always on. Right? I mean, it still is for the most part.
Was it when Jeff Zucker got involved? Is that when things changed?
You know what? I don't know. I'm not qualified.
Because he put on some good stuff, too. He was the head of NBC when I was over there.
Okay.
When I was over there for News Radio and Fear Factor. Maybe not News Radio. Fear Factor. He was the head guy over there. And when he went over there, he did a bunch of great things, like the Anthony Bourdain show. They were doing those interesting shows. W. Kamau Bell had a show on there. They were doing some cool stuff that was not just the news. And I was like, oh, I like it. But then when they became, like, Don Lemon, at one point in time, do you remember when Don Lemon had that famous speech about what black people need to do? Pull your pants up, get your shit together.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck yeah, Don Lemon. And where's that guy?
Yeah.
Where'd that guy go? That guy fucking vanished.
There was no money in that. No.
There is. He's got to go to Fox.
Yeah.
You can't hang out and see it with those kind of fucking, come on. Objective opinions.
God. Yeah, it'll be, so I think, again, I think this interview that she's going to do, I get it. I understand why wouldn't you want to be in a comfortable spot.
Right.
I think it's very bizarre that she's doing a joint interview with Waltz. You know, if you want to show that you're ready for the job and you're, going to could possibly be the first, woman president of the United States, and then you say, okay, my first big interview, I'm going to do it. Sit here with this dude.
Could you imagine if Trump did all his interviews with Pence? What? What?
Where is Pence?
He's hiding.
I don't even know where
all
he
those
is.
QAnon people, they don't like him.
Oh God, no, that's true.
Oh,
yeah,
they think he's a traitor.
yeah.
They think he's responsible for Trump not being still in office.
There's nobody in the middle anymore.
Oh my God, no one's in the middle. If you're in the middle, you're an enemy. You're the enemy. Pick a fucking side.
Pick a side.
You guys need to stop. cut this shit, man. We need about 5 different parties that are all relevant.
Goddamn right.
And right now we have 2.
Yeah.
And one of them is way more funded. Like, way more funded. Fucking
Yeah.
way more funded.
You see, they raked in the Democrats raked in something like $500 million.
Nuts.
And they'll probably spend it all.
But have you seen the Project Veritas deep dive into that? Where they go to people's houses and they ask them, "Did you donate $150,000?" These registered donors, and he's like, well, "Goodness, no! Like, I didn't donate any of that money."
50,000.
So there's all these donations that at least Project Veritas is claiming, and these people are claiming we're not theirs, and this is that they're. Throwing money into this pot, and they're attributing it to all these people that probably don't even know it's being attributed to them. I think that's what they're alluding to.
If they can, I mean, the cost of this campaign is, it's going to be north of $1 billion. You have to assume. And you think about, if there was a way to take money out of it, if there was a way to take the term limit or enact term limits, and there was a way to have a meaningful third and fourth party, completely change the landscape here. I would think, and I think for the better. I don't think there's any. I mean, in my mind, I don't think I could be persuaded otherwise. But I just don't see that happening. Who's going to vote against their own best interests, right? You look at the money that these politicians can make, and they can walk out the door multimillionaires on salaries where that doesn't make any sense. That's the other thing you need to get out of there is insider trading.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's important that we all participate in the free market. I gotta go.
I gotta go.
Oh, my wife is so damn.
Can I help you?